Welcome into the Cowboys Report, made possible today by True Classic. I'm rocking one of their polos, and you should be too. It's a perfect Father's Day gift, by the way. Get 25% off your order at trueclassic.com/chat when you use promo code chat. More on them later on in today's show, where we break down the latest on DeAndre Hopkins, where things sit with a potential price tag for the former Cardinals wide receiver. The buzz again on signing Dalton Risner in free agency, and Mike McCarthy hot seat conversation as well. Before we break down that, though, do you guys like the Cowboys Report? I hope you do. You're watching it after all. If you do, show me. Like today's video right now. In theory, every single person, or at least 90% of you who like the show are going to like the video as well. So help us out. Like the video right now. Let's get the latest then on Hopkins. Report from Albert Breer says he might get only $8 to $10 million on the open market this offseason, which would be very low and a lot lower than I think what Hopkins himself wants. And as many have pointed out, including Mike Fisher, shouldn't you have interest at that cost? That's not very expensive. If it is the actual price tag involved, shouldn't you be pursuing him at that figure? Dallas so far has not shown any real interest in going after DeAndre Hopkins. They focused on Brandon Cooks instead. Here's what Albert Breer reported. One executive said that if he were a free agent in March, he'd still see Hopkins as an $18 million player on a multi-year deal, but it's a strange time to reach the market. Everyone has already spent and allocated. Another guessed he'd get between $8 and $10 million on a one-year deal, meaning another NFL executive or alleged NFL executive. Now, I think that DeAndre Hopkins, at minimum, wants the same, if not more, than what Odell Beckham got from the Baltimore Ravens. And who can blame him? OBJ got 1 year, $15 million, up to $18 million on a basically fully guaranteed deal. So, yeah, of course Hopkins wants that closer to $15 million price tag because he's been more productive than what OBJ has been in recent years. So, I get and understand what Hopkins, in theory, would be going after. But clearly, the market for Hopkins has not been what he thought it would be, what the Cardinals thought it would be. I don't think he's going to take a significant pay cut unless nobody makes a real offer and he just has to sign somewhere. Now, maybe he signs soon with the Titans or the Patriots since he took visits / is taking a visit with New England right now. But if you can get him for $8 million, don't you have interest, right? Don't you gotta have to? All right. Would you sign DeAndre Hopkins at that rough price tag estimation? Y for yes, N for no. It's going to be today's pinned comment. So if that ad break comes here on the YouTube side, cool. Take advantage of it. Ignore the ad. Go vote Y or N at the pinned comment. I do have interest at $10 million. That's pretty cheap. Now, the issue you tend to run into is, well, do the Cowboys have interest in that $10 million price tag? I'm not saying I agree with it, but I think what the Cowboys view right now with this wide receiving core is CeeDee Lamb's their wide receiver who's also due a $25+ million deal in the near future. They have Brandon Cooks at this stage. They just made that big-time splash trade for Brandon Cooks. They have but they believe in a bounce-back season for Michael Gallup. They're not going to bail on him at this point. So even though I don't agree with it, they seem to view this as more of a wide receiver 4 spot. And it's always good to have depth, don't get me wrong. But wide receiver 4 is normally cheap. He can play special teams. And Lamb, Cooks, Gallup, those guys aren't doing that. Hopkins wouldn't do it either. So Dallas feels good about its top wide receivers right now. And I know what you're saying, but Tom, with the depth, and I agree, you do. But this team seems to view it more as insurance. And when the insurance premium is that expensive, it doesn't really make sense to have it. You're better off just buying a new one if something bad happens and a receiver goes down. So I would have interest because I want to make my football team better, but I also don't think the Cowboys feel a similar fashion. And in the end, I do think Hopkins gets a little bit more than $8 or $10 million per year. Father's Day is just around the corner, and let's be honest, you probably forgot to get your dad something this year, right? That's okay. Get that changed with some True Classic. 25% off your order at trueclassic.com/chat when you use promo code chat. Ultra soft, perfectly fitted tees are just the beginning. They have everything you need to complete a wardrobe, from button-downs to Henleys to polos. Their comfort jeans and chinos are a must-have for anyone who wants to look sharp and feel comfortable at the same time. They also have an active line of shorts, shorts, and joggers, With affordable prices and high-quality clothes, True Classic is a no-brainer for anyone looking to upgrade their wardrobe. So don't settle for anything less than the best. Try True Classic today. Get your dad something he'll actually like and want and use this Father's Day. Get him some True Classic. 25% off at trueclassic.com/chat. That's trueclassic.com/chat. Links in the comments section and the description of today's show. Let's move to Mike McCarthy, as Blogging the Boys looked at the status of McCarthy and his hot seat entering 2023. They said he's under big pressure this year, and I am inclined to agree with that, even though if you look at only the numbers, that's kind of a weird thing to say with the level of success that Mike McCarthy's had so far, but he's taken over the play calling this year. There's a lot more pressure on McCarthy this year as he enters year 3, angling for an extension or maybe not back as Cowboys head coach. They laid out 3 reasons why his hot seat, his status is a little bit warm. The uncertainty beyond 2023, which I don't like that one. They talk about like the players, the guys on the roster. The rosters change constantly every year in the NFL, so I don't buy that one as much. But the coaching shakeups is a big thing. The potential negative move the Cowboys would have made on offense was getting rid of Kellen Moore and installing Mike McCarthy as the play caller. If the offense gets significantly worse, that's the impetus. That is the reason why the offense regressed, or at least would most likely be. So that would fall in the end on the shoulders of Mike McCarthy. And they also made the comment about forging his legacy, trying to win another title. He hasn't done that in a while. I get all that. I think it's the coaching shakeup aspect. Taking over as the play caller, that's a big factor why. So question for you guys now. How hot is Mike McCarthy's seat? Scale it from 1 to 10. It's a 1 on the low end. There's never getting fired. No way. 10, he's going to get fired at week 7. It's not a 1. It's not a 10 for me. Where does it check in for you? Go ahead and sound off for me in the comments section here. How hot is Mike McCarthy's seat right now? 1 to 10 in the comments. I think the status in terms of hot seat for Mike McCarthy is about as hot as it could be, given the level of success he has had. There was one bad year in 2020 when the quarterback got hurt and a bunch of the other key pieces got hurt as well. It was kind of a disastrous season. 2 straight 12-5 campaigns, and we are correctly, legitimately talking about, hey, he's got to do better or he's going to get fired. That is kind of crazy to think about because there's a lot of NFL teams that would love a 12-5 campaign in back-to-back years. That is among some of the better success rates in the NFL, but this is what goes along with being the Dallas Cowboys head coach. The expectations are high. You have a good football team. You need, honestly, if you win 10 games, that's fine in the regular season. You need more playoff success. That's been what's been holding back this Cowboys team from making us actually happy for once in January or February. Now, we will have more Cowboys videos for you right here on YouTube, so make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out. YouTube.com/@CowboysTV for free videos each and every single day. Let's go back to free agency here. Once again, Blogging the Boys, taking a look at the idea of signing Dalton Risner. He has been somewhat speculatively, if maybe heavily speculatively, linked to the Cowboys before the NFL draft. Then the Cowboys did not take a guard until maybe the 5th round, if we count Austin Richards there as a guard instead of a tackle. He has not had much of a market. Now, there was a report a few weeks ago out of Denver that said 7 teams had strong interest in Dalton Risner, and I don't know if I believe that. Because if there was a bunch of interest, I think he would have signed already. I don't think there's been a strong market, at least the way he thought it was going to be this offseason. The Cowboys, when their best 5 is out there, are in pretty good shape on the offensive line. Tyron, Tyler, Biotish, Martin, and Steele. It's a pretty good grouping. The issue is we know at some point, whether it's week 4, week 7, week 13, Tyron Smith will get hurt. And in that scenario, okay, Tyler Smith probably plays left tackle. And then who's your left guard? Is it Matt Farniok? Is it Matt Let's-Go? Is it, I don't know, Chuma Adoga, Awesome Richards? It's not a loaded group at that left guard spot. And it does raise some concerns, some fears. I think Risner would be a decent fit. I think I was clearly too high on him. I know Spotrac said $9 million per year contract. He ain't going to get that. Maybe 4 or 5. I would sign him to a 1-year deal. Will the Cowboys do that? Maybe they will revisit later on during training camp.